Machine Gun Kelly documented him and Pete Davidson's fight to Sundance, and I think it's safe to say it looked lit. Literally.
Lit, Jimmy.
However, what I'm here to fill you in on is what Pete had to say once he was there. He discussed his rehab stay, and by discussed, I mean made a joke out of it. He also opened up about being lame in high school and why he will continue to lay low on social media. Someone else who will be laying low is Chris Brown. A new report states that he will be taking some time away from the limelight after everything that went down in Paris. I've got the latest on Pete Davidson and Chris Brown right now, so stay right here to get caught up. How's it going, guys? I'm Madison Hill. From Pete's latest revelations to Chris Brown laying low post-Paris, we have a lot to discuss, so let's get right to the details. Let's kick things off talking about Pete. He started off the week being in some hot water with Ariana fans after he threw some subtle shade at her on SNL this weekend.
That's why she walk around with my name on her neck.
However, he was able to pull himself together for an appearance at Sundance for his new film. As you previously saw, Pete and his fellow co-star and friend definitely traveled in style and killed any pre-appearance nerves, which is probably why Pete was so open during his interview with Variety. E! News reports that Pete was at the center of his co-stars and sat there relaxed while drinking a beer. Keep that detail in mind as I tell you this next part. You see, Pete kicked off talking about himself, saying that he loved Park City, Utah, despite the fact that the last time he was there was for rehab. He then went on to make this joke.
It's nice to be on the other side and also speaks wonders to your rehab facilities.
Is it just me, or was that a tad awkward?
That's awkward.
When Pete was done joking about rehab, he did get serious and open up about social media. You all know this has been a big struggle for Pete, essentially ever since he started dating and then broke up with Ariana Grande, most notably when he posted that suicidal threat. Since then, Pete has been pretty quiet on social media, and it sounds like it's gonna stay that way. Pete made a slight joke saying that he wants to stay off social media for, quote, obvious reasons. He then gave everyone who has ever dealt with cyberbullying one big piece of advice to, quote, just don't go online. Also, being that Pete's new movie is called Big Time Adolescence, he admitted one funny fact about his pre-SNL years. He said, quote, I was so lame in high school. I didn't have any friends. Moving on, let's talk about Chris Brown, because just like Pete is laying low on social media, we've learned Chris is now laying low from the spotlight. A source revealed that Chris is preparing to step away from the limelight for just a little bit. He reportedly is still going to live his life and work on his music and do what he needs to do to maintain an income, but he does not plan on going out and showing off. Following everything that went down in Paris, this source said Chris, quote, thinks the best attention right now is no attention. I think I definitely agree with them there. As you all know, last week, Chris was arrested in Paris after a woman claimed he raped and abused her. While Chris was later released because sources reported that the authorities did not believe her story, the case is still being investigated. Also, as far as we know, Chris still has a lawsuit against the alleged victim for defamation of character. With all this legal stuff still pending, the source claims Chris just wants to keep out of the limelight, quote, as much as possible. He reportedly wants to move on from the horror of the last few weeks because he feels it's a situation that no one should be in, as he maintains he's been falsely accused. The source maintained that for now, Chris does not want to be in the news. He wants to get to a point where everyone learns the truth and then lets this horrible accusation fade away. That way everyone can just move on. While I do think that's wishful thinking, I don't think people are gonna let this go anytime soon. But I do think Chris's plan to lay low for the time being is definitely a good one. All right, you guys, I'm ready to hear your thoughts on this Pete and Chris news. What were your thoughts about Pete and his comments about rehab, social media, and high school? Plus, what do you think about Chris's plan to stay out of the spotlight for now? Let it out down there in the comments. For more on Pete, check out the full video on him shading Ariana on SNL. And for more entertainment news, subscribe now.